Um, Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on another town hall. I'm honored today that we're going to have Superintendent Dr. Gregory O'Brien on today's call. He's going to discuss the upcoming school year, how the high schools within the school district, Centinela Valley School District, is going to progress through the academic year with this new distance learning platform. It's going to be unique for many of the students out there, but this is kind of just allowing you as parents and as students to kind of be more comfortable attending classes this year and not be bogged down with any concerns you might have on this new distance learning platform. So as we kind of wait for the residents to jump on board, as we have everyone coming in, we'll begin the meeting in a couple minutes just to get everyone on. We're on Facebook Live as well, so we are going to be taking questions in from both platforms as always. So bear with us as we get the audience in. Okay. All right, so again, everyone, thank you for joining today. We're going to start today's virtual town hall, the same kind of platform as we always do. We're going to have our guest today, Dr. Gregory O'Brien, to again give an update on the academic year for the Centinela Valley School District and all the high schools that are within it, and answer any questions and concerns that you might have. To give a little background on Dr. Gregory O'Brien, he is the superintendent of schools for the Centinela Valley Union High School District since 2015. He is responsible for over 6,200 students who attend across 6 high schools and 11 academias. He's probably worked in public education for the past 25 years, having taught in every grade from preschool through college, and is bilingual in English and Spanish. He received his PhD in education from the University of California, Riverside, my alma mater. Dr. O'Brien, kind of want to introduce you, have you kind of address the crowd, and then we'll move right into the agenda and the town hall.
All right, thank you so much, Councilmember Awad. It's such a pleasure to be here. And again, congratulations on, I know, your doctorate and all the work that you did to complete that. I know it's a lot of work. And I just want to encourage anyone that's considering that kind of education. It is a plunge. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. It can help you with your career, your future, and helping the community. So thank you very much for your work on that. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here today. We've got some good information that I think will help anyone that's listening. As you know, things have changed significantly since even a few months ago. It's kind of interesting today, exactly 5 months ago to the day was when we made the initial board approved order to close our schools on Friday the 13th back in March. And so
Right.
Now we're moving forward and kind of going into a little bit different direction.
I'm kind of glad to see how, compared to the other districts and the other high schools within the South Bay, the Centinela Valley School District has really taken a strong approach in getting the students and the parents geared up for this next academic year, especially with providing them the resources way ahead of time. You still have districts that are struggling just to get that in surrounding cities. So I want to applaud you for taking on that challenge. It's not an easy challenge to take on. And the fact that you also, through the high schools, administer food, and I think it was over to 600,000 individuals so far, and it's continuing to grow. That from when I heard from yesterday, that's still astounding to me now. The fact that you're able to handle this pandemic, address the students and the parents, and feed everyone. My goodness. So that's kind of the approach and the dedication that we have here in the Centinela Valley School District, and especially with your leadership, gearing these parents and families towards this academic school year. It's amazing. So we kind of wanted to give you a kind of sense of what I'm hearing from the residents, some of the concerns that kind of lead you into your presentation. So recently, of course, with the talks and discussions of whether or not our school district is going to open on time, whether or not we are doing a hybrid version or everything on distance learning, what does that look like? I know I had discussions with parents worrying about Wi-Fi capabilities, Chromebook access. So addressing all those concerns, I think, would be really imperative for the upcoming school year and the parents. And this is exactly why I wanted to bring on this town hall, especially with the academic year starting, I think, a few days from now.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm getting a lot of calls, and I thought this was the opportune moment to have you address these concerns, allow the parents to feel at ease, and the fact that it is going to be a struggle, I know, but it's the safest way to open up our schools without increasing the virus, especially spreading it throughout our residents. The scary thing is if one teacher or one school administration staff member were to contact COVID-19, you would have to almost shut down the whole school, because one, you would have to worry about who else was in contact with that staff member, if the parents were contacted, or even the students themselves. So instead of just worrying about, oh, if we're going to start on time, you can shut down the whole school for X. Yeah, it's worrisome. But no, the approach that you're taking is wonderful. I know it's been touchy, but I want to give you the platform to kind of address the residents, and we'll dive right in.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, as an educator and as a community member, I live in the area. Our number one thing was to try to open schools. Closing schools to begin with was such a difficult decision. I know for myself, for our administrators, for our board, because we know that students do best when they're in a classroom. I mean, that face-to-face, that camaraderie, the ability to be able to understand people even through the nonverbal communication, it's so important. And of course, being on a meeting like this today through Zoom and Facebook Live and all these wonderful techniques, it's not the same as being there in the room with the person. So we really want to open schools. However, like you mentioned, right now, it is not possible to open them safely. When I go back and look at our initial resolution, we actually shut the schools down, not just us, but all the regional schools, all of schools in California. We had 28 confirmed cases in Los Angeles County when we shut the schools down, 28. And
Yeah,
when we
that was
made
high.
the decision to say, you know what, we're going to not go through hybrid learning, and I'll explain hybrid in just a moment, but we decided to continue with distance learning even before it became a directive from the state, which it is now a directive. But we made the decision because when we were seeing 4,000 new cases in Los Angeles per day, we knew it wasn't going to be possible to start school. So on just the safety aspect of it, it's very important for our parents, for our students, for the community to know that we are taking this very seriously. And there are so many precautions that we have put in place in order to make it safe for staff to come and continue their essential duties, their tasks, food distribution, as you mentioned. Again, we are so proud. We passed 600,000 meals since we shut down about 103 days ago. So we have continued to provide that service for the community. Now, one thing, as long as we're talking about the food, and just a quick change that is going to be starting on Monday, we will no longer be able to give meals to any student or young person 18 and under just for showing up. We will have to show the ID card, or give us your student number. You must be enrolled in our district in order to receive meals starting Monday. That's a big change. It's because we had been given a lot of freedom from the federal government all throughout the pandemic, and they right now have not changed those rules to allow us to be able to continue that in the fall. So in the past, we were able to take students from any school district, and we had people from districts all around us coming in to receive meals. And as I mentioned to you yesterday, in 600,000 meals, we received 0 complaints. Our staff, our food service workers, the way they prepared the meals, served the meals, the system that was set up, they were amazing. And I remember a few months ago, we actually had a parade to thank them, and we drove through in our cars with our masks on, beeping our horns. People had balloons to thank our food service workers. And for those of you that have been receiving meals, always make sure you say thank you, show your gratitude. You know, you can say it in Spanish, in Español, Inglés, lo que sea. It doesn't matter what language you do it in. We're just show that gratitude, because these individuals have worked hard to prepare those meals each and every day so that we can make sure our students are receiving the nutritional needs that they have. And we're hoping, and we've been requesting, that we could start to open it up again as we had in the previous month. So that's going to be changing. But as you mentioned, our school district was uniquely set up for going to distance learning. That wasn't the reason we did it, but 4 years ago, we started what was called our Digital Learning Initiative, where we started to roll out Chromebooks to all of our incoming 9th graders. And so this last fall, we were just finally getting our freshmen, our sophomores, and our juniors all had their Chromebooks. They are Chromebooks that they get to take home every night. They keep them over the summer. If they take care of them when they graduate with us, because they'll be obsolete, they get to take them with them to college or to their career. But we added that senior class last September. So we had a whole 8 months with our students, all of them with Chromebooks, all of them with internet connection, all of them with access to Canvas, which is a learning management system that's used in many colleges and universities to help organize the coursework. What do I have to do? How do I turn in my assignments? Where's my syllabus? All of that was online. Now, again, it's not just the students and getting them the materials. We also have had to train our staff. And of course, that takes a lot of time. Some teachers, they're on it quickly. Others, it's been a little bit slower, road. And you know that from even the university. There are some university professors, they're on top of things, and they're happy to do everything digitally. Others, it's like, well, I don't know about that yet. I'll send you an email.
You're right.
With staff, and they've done an incredible job. However, when we, on the 13th of March, said, teachers, 3 days from now, we're going to be shutting down the schools, we had a very quick turnaround to get everybody ready. But again, 3 days after that, Monday was our final day with students after the 13th. Tuesday was a teacher prep day. Wednesday, we started online instruction. Now, we did find that some students had not let us know they didn't have internet. We had the devices, they had to let us know. But it's surprising when all my homework is now on the internet. We got those out, and by within 2 weeks, every single student who needed a device from us received one. And most of our students, thankfully, already did have internet, and we really appreciate the parents maintaining that so our students can be online. Of course, graduation hit. We had our beautiful parade graduation. It went really well. Everyone did a great job. Parents, families, they stayed in their cars. They wore their masks. Fantastic celebration. Unique and different from the past, but did a really good job. This year, though, now we've had to bring in all new 9th graders. So all the registration has had to take place virtually for the most part, except when they come in to either do paperwork that they couldn't upload themselves, to pick up their Chromebooks, get their textbooks, and that part is still happening now. The goal is that every student will have what they need ready to go on Monday at 8 a.m. Why am I saying 8 a.m.? Because before it was you could log in kind of when you wanted. Most classes were asynchronistic, meaning here's the assignment. You can do it at 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning, do it at 3 in the afternoon. Starting this Monday, all classes will be synchronistic, which means you must be in your class during the exact time period that you've been assigned. So class starts at 8 a.m. And that's a big change from what happened in the spring. Secondly, it's going to be daily attendance for every class. So if you have first period, you're expected to be there, we're taking attendance. Second period, you're expected to be there, we're taking attendance. All of our classes now will have at least 50% of the class period with live interaction with a teacher and interaction with classmates. It's not just about the teacher talking to the students. It's also about students being able to interact with their peers, with their colleagues, you could say, their fellow students. And so that's going to be taking place for at least 50% of every single class period. Then at the end of the day, from 12:30 to 3, each teacher will have set office hours where each student can contact that teacher, set up an appointment, get some tutoring if they need it, visit their other teachers. It will be a set time for each teacher each day. And of course, students can then do additional work that they're being assigned. After 3 o'clock, we are going to be having online tutors, and starting in September, again, based on what the COVID counts are, we will be having some face-to-face tutoring and social emotional counseling that will take place on our campuses after 3 o'clock for those students that need that. So again, those are big changes that are happening. A final change I want to mention, because students, this is very important for you, but also for parents. We did a change in grading for our emergency switch to distance learning in the spring. It was an A to C grading model. There wasn't enough time to be able to adjust, to be able to do all the different things that we currently do and have done in previous quarters and semesters to ensure every student can complete their work and pass their classes. But starting Monday, the new grading scale is A through D. And if a person is not at a D level, at least, they will be what's called receiving an incomplete. And that incomplete, they will have up to 6 weeks after the end of the semester to make up that work. If they don't, they'll get a no mark. Well, that's not an F. It won't affect their GPA. They will have to make up that class, because any class without a mark must be made up. So students, it's very important. It's not just about going. You need to complete the classwork. You need to make sure you meet the teacher's deadlines. And that way you can get those grades that will get you into college. Again, the goal, C or better in every single class. I'm not sure if you have any questions just about that. We certainly have more to talk about, but that might be some important information.
No, actually, that's you've touched on a wide range of topics. And actually discussing that, I've used Canvas, especially now completing my doctorate, especially completing the master's degrees. It's a very unique tool that actually increases that engagement between the instructor and the student. So it's even though it's not as beneficial or the same as face-to-face interaction, it's still bridging that gap between distance learning and the face-to-face interaction. So you mentioned how it's different than the spring setup. How was the setup during the spring, so that way parents can kind of understand the difference between what transpired and what's happening now?
Exactly. So in the spring, it was a flexible schedule. The students still, well, there's a couple things. We had 8 class periods last year, which was fantastic for students wanting to take extra assignments, extra coursework, extra AP classes, being in the academy, Avid, you name it. There was lots of room in their schedule. It's a way that we've used the extra money that we receive as a district to enhance all the educational opportunities for our students. So we had 8 courses. The problem we have now is that we found that students cannot complete 8 courses online. It's just overwhelming to be trying to maintain that. So now we're returning to a 6-period day. So on Monday, they'll be logging in at 8 o'clock. And this is kind of a unique piece as well. Even though it'll be similar to what we did with the 8-period block, we're doing what's called a 6-period block. So Monday, they will have every one of their class periods. But the first class they'll have was what maybe used to be called homeroom. We're now calling it an advisory period. And that advisory period is going to allow them to get a lot of social emotional support. It's not going to be run by the teacher, even though the teacher will be there in the learning space, but it's going to be our social workers. It's going to be some of our extra groups that are there. It could be some of our Avid tutors that are going to be there helping to teach students some of the Avid skills. We have a 30-minute scheduled support time every Monday for every student where they can get that help both academically and social emotionally. So we're very excited about that. Then they will go to the rest of their periods as they did last year, but instead of 8, there are 6. Starting on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they will do their odd numbered classes. So they'll do 1, 3, and 5. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, they're going to go 2, 4, and 6. So they're used to that rotation model. But again, it's a little bit different. So now they'll have an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half, twice a week just for those specific classes. And again, unlike the past where you could just join it whenever you wanted because it was assignments were left on board, some teachers did do synchronistic learning where the student needed to be there at a certain time. Most of our teachers did not, or if they did, they didn't do it for every lesson. Starting on Monday, every teacher in every class will have live instruction, and we will be taking attendance because that's part of the new law. So it's not just what we want to do, which we do want to do, it's also including the laws that have changed. So we will be doing that, and so that part will be significantly different than it was last year. So we need parents to make sure their student is up and out of bed, in front of that computer, Chromebook on, hooked up to the internet, ready to join their class at 8 o'clock every morning. And that's going to be all 5 days a week. So nobody's having a less than 6 period day. So they need to make sure every morning, 8 a.m. Parents, also check your Power School. Are they completing assignments? Make sure your contact information is correct. If you change your cell phone number, talk to the school. We've got to know, because we try to get a hold of you and let you know, hey, your student's not doing their work. You need to help us, or how can we help them? We have tutors, we have support. As needed, we'll do home visits. We have lots of staff that's going to be going out to homes. If we don't see you logging in, we don't see you doing your work, we're going to come out and visit and ask you, what can we do to help you be more successful? So again, there's going to be a lot more of that interaction, and we're excited about that.
So actually, you brought up a very good point. I've been hearing this a lot from the residents, is the amount of counseling that's provided by the school district to these parents, to the students themselves, especially during this pandemic time. They're wondering how, especially from my office, how we can either help the school district or contact state representatives to ensure that we have increased funding for those guidance counselors.
Yes.
Has that, I know you've been aware of this, has that kind of been addressed at the last board meeting? I know you guys have taken steps into acquiring more funds.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see if you wanted to touch on that, on the increased capacity side when it comes to the amount of students to counselors.
Exactly. Well, again, there's a couple things to look at there. First of all, there's the counselors that are doing some of the academic counseling. And that's the one, what class do I need to be in? You know, what am I needing to do for college? Am I getting my letters in? And that piece is already, you know, we got that pretty much, it worked quite well even in the spring with distance learning. But what our district has, and we started this also several years ago, but it's been increasing throughout the year, and certainly it's going to be in hyperdrive starting on Monday. It's already actually up and running, is we have what's called our wellness centers. And so every one of our school sites actually has a separate office block that are set aside for mental health services for our students, which we have full-time social workers at our sites. We have social worker interns at our site. We have psychologists, we have intervention specialists, and of course, we have a very broad network of community mental health experts that we are working with when there's something that is of need that we're not able to meet, and we can refer that out to some of the community services that we have. And so that's already up and running. And so if you go to our homepage on our website, you go to each of the school sites website, we actually have a big screen that says mental health services. They click on there, it's going to give them, hey, you feel depressed, suicide, big box saying, who do you call, who do you text to get immediate help? You need something a little bit different, fill out a form, and we will absolutely, I'm getting some calls, sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, there's always things that are going on.
There's always something.
Yes, and so, but they can fill out a form, and then it will be directed to who is the person that can best meet that need. Also, of course, because of this interaction with teachers, it's very important, and this is, I always, even when I worked in elementary schools, kindergarten on up, you need to self-advocate. We have now, every teacher's email is accessible to our students. We have our principals, we have our admin staff. You could email me. We get anything saying, I need support, we're gonna get you hooked up to where you need support, but you have to ask. Now, the one benefit now of this face-to-face instruction, and the one downside of just this asynchronistic that we had last semester, is that one of the best ways to see how students are doing is when I see you come into class every day. I shake your hand, give you a knuckle bump. Now it'll probably be an elbow bump. It'll probably be a fake high five. I don't know what it'll be. It won't be handshakes, we know that. But when you come in, I get to kind of evaluate, how are you doing? If every day you're saying, hey, Dr. O'Brien, so good to see you every morning, and all of a sudden you're not giving me that, hey, good to see you, and I see you withdrawing, you're not coming to school, I know something's wrong. We can reach out and try to see what to do. But when we don't have that face-to-face, we don't know. Now, thankfully, with this 50% or more, and I think some teachers will use the entire period. I know I would, because I can't have half. I need the whole period. They're going to have that interaction. They're going to better be able to judge, is there a student with some needs? And this is not about discipline. This is about supporting students. All of us, I think you would probably agree, this is a little depressing. I mean, it can all go through, we go through anger and depression. You know, I have my mask right here. I'm not a fan of wearing masks, but I will wear my mask because it can keep people healthy. It can get our school open faster. It can get our stores and businesses to open. Dr. O'Brien will wear his mask if that's what it takes. And I will learn to do what is needed to keep people healthy. But students, we need you also to be reaching out. We need you to be working with your teachers. We want you to be healthy. It's not embarrassing to say, I need some support. I need help. There is nothing to be ashamed of. We also are offering services to our staff members because, again, we're all human beings. And if something is going wrong in your life, in your emotional state, in your home, I don't need to know about it. It's not about me, but it's getting you in contact with services that will help you to be successful and be able to do the best job you can for our students, our staff, and the family members. So we take mental health, social, emotional health very seriously, including our subgroups, special populations, you name it. We're here to help. Is the system perfect? Absolutely not. Are we fine-tuning it? Absolutely. When a student comes to me and says, hey, I reached out, but no one got back to me, let's find out what happened there. Did you actually reach out to the correct email? I was just emailing one of your support staff, and guess what? I spelled your name. It says, you know, Haidar, but it was ER instead of AR. It went back to who knows where it went. It came back undeliverable. You know, you get one letter wrong, and you got support, but you didn't get to the right place. So we're trying to help everybody to make sure and don't stop reaching out. We want your mental health and your academic health to both be successful.
And that's a very big part of this whole distance learning aspect is the mental health side. It is, you know, it's hard enough for students coming in as a freshman, as a sophomore, starting the new high school year. That alone is stressful. Now you pack on this COVID-19 virus, then you tag on now it has to be distance learning, and you can't be around your friends, and you can't have these social interactions. I could see why their heads would begin to spin even faster than before. The fact that you're addressing this now and providing these resources not only to the students but the staff members themselves, this is really going to help decrease the amount of suicides and depression numbers we're seeing countywide. A lot of districts aren't addressing that the way you guys are, and I commend you for pumping out these resources and helping these students, especially with distance learning and mental health. And you're right, when it comes to just the smallest tweak on any email, any phone number, you are going to have that issue. So I want parents to kind of understand that there might be bumps in the beginning, and it's normal. But the fact at the end of the day, we are committed to keeping not only yourselves safe, but your children safe as they progress through the academic year. And just like Dr. O'Brien said, as he's committed to wearing his mask, I'm wearing my mask 24/7, sometimes forgetting I have it on while I'm driving. I've done that quite a few times. But I like that fact. That was a very big concern with parents, is the counseling aspect and the ease of access. Is there, on the high school's website or the Centinela Valley School District's website, where can they access these phone numbers and resources? Is there a specific tab? Where should they be driving to?
Yeah, a couple things there. So first of all, you can go onto the district website or onto your school site website. That will have the one for the mental health services in particular. but there's also a link there to the COVID-19 resources, which will give then a plethora of information and what students need, all the contact information, who do I call, plus all the login information that they're going to need as well. So again, we understand, and we're going to be flexible. We know these first couple of weeks, it's going to take a little bit, but we also have staff. And this is one thing I didn't mention, but because we did not lay off any staff that were involved with our students. So we had certain individuals that were calling home. So when we started our distance learning back in March, we had individuals calling home to our students every single day. So most students, unless they didn't pick up, and we had the correct phone number, we got a call to every student every day in every school. That was 6,000 plus phone calls every day from our staff. When a staff member called, they're not there to cause any problems. They're, hey, how's it going? Are you logging in? How are things going? Now, we also were able to run login reports. We know exactly who's logging in and who is not. So, because everyone has a Chromebook, we just run the report. We know you logged in for 2 classes, but not for all 8 last semester. We knew exactly who and when you logged in. So we then did some proactive. We find a person who's not logging in for 3 days, we did home visits. So again, we found some people did move, so that happens as well. We know things change, but we are committed. Now, we found that for some people, okay, you called me enough, thank you very much. We may only do it once a week as needed, and this starting now in the fall, because some parents say, okay, we know we appreciate the support, but yeah, we're okay. But we're gonna call, maintain those records, and then try to do the running of the reports to see who's not logging in, what are the attendance reports. Let's get a hold of those people, the student, the parent. Let's figure out what we can do to help. So that's going to be going on. But also on the website is, again, they can access that information right now. Of course, if there's a challenge, you're not getting through, you may need to come to the school, knock on the door. I mean, they're open usually 8 to 3. There'll be somebody there. We want to try to do things through virtual, but you know what? At some point, come with your mask. You need to set up an appointment. Hey, I tried, I'm not getting through. Don't stop. Keep doing what's necessary. It's vital that you get the support you need, because your education is what's going to be the thing that's going to propel you to success in life. And we need to help them in any way we can. So don't get weary. Don't stop. Keep reaching out. But again, there are lots and lots of ways to get in touch with us, to get in touch with the school. But again, the easiest way is going to be, once they're logged in, is all the support from staff that they're going to have through Canvas. And it's extreme. There is so much information there.
Actually, you're right on that aspect, that Canvas does it is user-friendly to the fact that wherever you need to look for, you can either put it in the search box, or at the same time, there are separate tabs that has this easy user interface. I've seen the Centinela Valley School District website recently, and the update and the revamp you guys done to have this access with not only the administration, but with the teachers themselves is phenomenal. And the fact that you're allowing, so they can set appointments to actually go on campus itself and talk to the administration. Is it
definitely, that's not a problem. Again, everything is by appointment. So for example, when we had even this, and it worked very well in the spring, we have our IT people, because IT, if anyone says, well, what's important for education? Well, we found out IT is important. It's not just what's happening in a classroom, it's also IT. Oh, but it's also the secretaries. Oh, it's also everybody working in our district is vital to make sure your child gets their education. But again, IT, people had to call in a number. They called in, set up an appointment. We normally we do computer swaps, which means we give you a loaner, you take it out, we take your new one in. They got their face mask on, they got their gloves on, they take it, lets it sit probably for a day, then they work on it, and then we swap it back out by appointment. So again, we have a very smooth system of getting the support that they need. And because our students, and I will give this is very important for our community to know, our students have been amazing. When we started this rollout 3 years ago, 4 years planning, 3 years actually starting, and we're starting our 4th year this year, giving them a Chromebook, there were doubters. What? The kids will lose them, they'll break them, what's gonna happen? Very low loss. I think it's like a 2% of the Chromebooks. And if we talk about textbooks, it's a way higher percent. So our students have been responsible. They've treated their Chromebooks with respect. They've taken care of them, because guess what? That will be their property if they graduate with us in 4 years. And so we need to make, they understand that. And the parents, we support, oh man, they've been amazing. The parents have been receiving computer classes. Those will continue. We're going to have online training for parents throughout the year. So all the great things that were happening live will now be virtual, and our parents are going to be able to have access to that and get all the support that they need as well, so they can see what their students are doing, because this is all new and it looks different, but it's something that we can do. It's something we must do because our students need this help.
Now, that's actually a very good topic there. You're actually providing these online classes to the parents themselves to access the platforms to check in on the children. So you've been doing this for how long so far? The school district has been providing this for free, or?
Yes. A few years ago, we added a community liaison position to every single school site. And they have done a phenomenal job of helping parents. I mean, oftentimes, parents are busy. They have jobs, they have things they need to be doing, and they really trust us with their students, and we appreciate that. But sometimes, oh, I can't remember my login, or oh, I only speak Spanish, or I speak another language. Who can help me? The community liaisons have done a great job offering classes, one-to-one tutorials. We're going to continue that. They're going to reach out. So parents, if they keep their email and their cell phone number up to date, then we can contact them and get them all the information they need so that they can log in, participate, join a meeting later. We're already having students come in for virtual orientations, hundreds and hundreds of students in these chats like this, and they're learning what does it mean to be a student at Hawthorne, at Lawndale, at Lusinger. And so it's been really quite amazing. We're actually today doing a professional learning. We did it yesterday and today for all of our certificated staff. So that's teachers, our counselors, psychologists. And I did 2 little sessions that I was working with 166 people in one, 167 in the other. So
oh, wow.
People are getting trained. We have lots of ways to train and help parents, help our students. And there's one other group of people that I cannot forget, because I met with our ASB, which is our student government group. And they have an annual retreat. So every year I meet with them, usually at Lawndale High School, and all the schools come together in the cafeteria. And this year there's no getting together in the cafeteria. So it was all virtual. And so I challenged those students. They are great. They love activities. They do the dances. They do the yearbooks, all the things they do to keep school exciting, all the clubs. And I challenged them. I said, every year I challenge you because you're leaders. I said, this year more than ever, you need to be monitoring what's happening with your classmates. Where are there students that need help? And we're there to empower this ASB group, to our student leader group. They will be part of the solution here. And we're looking for exciting ways. I guess we've all realized that high school is the high school dance. It is the football game on Friday. It is, the clubs that I attend, each one with their unique ideas of what they want to do. I love all that. All the clubs are going to continue, but they're going to continue, at least at the beginning, virtually. As soon as we can safely start to bring back groups, and like I said, we're going to be really looking in September, October, if we can bring back one of the clubs and say, you know what, we're going to do a little experiment here. You come in, the whole cafeteria is blocked off for 20 kids, separated by large distances. You guys can meet in person. Let's see what works. I got to make sure that when kids come back, they're not all going to be hugging each other, oh, I missed you, and they're crying and tears. No. I need masks on. I need the physical distancing. Let's start with small groups. Show me it works, and then we can start to expand. And just kind of a thing, right now we're doing distance. Hybrid is that you come, it'll be 1 day a week for live instruction in person. And then the rest of the students will be at home doing distance learning, watching the class that the teacher's actually doing. And we do it that way because we need to separate out by thirds. A third would come on Monday, a third will finally come on Wednesday, a third will come on Friday. That's to keep students separated, because right now we cannot even have 1,000 kids on campus. Our campuses are huge, but how do you have a hallway, walking to keep kids separated? How do you stay in a classroom if you have more than 12 students and have them 6 feet apart. So right now with our thing, we're looking at the whole system. We've already, in fact, our master schedule is set up that when we can do distance learning, we've already got 3 cohorts within every class, how to separate them out so they can come and be safe when they actually do come back on campus.
Yeah, that's actually a very intuitive way of creating this hybrid program. So a third, a third, a third. So the students that are on campus are being watched by the students on Zoom,
Yes.
while the instructor is still giving both sets of students the same lesson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't create any more work for the teacher because they're already teaching the lesson. They already
Right.
have the assignments, and they're already going to be very good at distance learning in the next couple of months. I will promise you that. So they're just going to be learning to use that system in a really positive way. But again, without the support of teachers and their dedication, none of this will be possible. And again, we're all mutually watching out for the safety of everyone. But that's why it's important. You come to a school, wear that mask. Keep the 6 feet distance. You know, we've told our staff, if anyone's asking you to work, and again, so you know, and our community knows, a contact is called less than 6 feet for 15 minutes or more. Passing somebody in the hallway, me coming up to you with my mask on and signing some paperwork, that's not considered a contact. But if I sit next to you for 15 minutes helping you with your math homework, that's considered a contact. So we need to be able to adjust how we offer support. And this is new for everyone, but by keeping our staff healthy, they can come and serve our students and our parents. So everybody needs to be working together on this. If our food service workers get sick, guess what? The meals will stop. We've got to be able to serve meals, but the staff has to be healthy. So again, everyone needs to be supporting, being extra careful, wear that mask, wash those hands, stay away if you're sick, and then keep that social distancing of 6 feet or more, especially if it's if you need to have any length of time together.
That's actually quite right. You know, for the meetings that are set for the students and the instructional videos, are they also, to let the parents know, they're also going to be recorded? Is it on cloud? Do they have to have it on their Chromebooks? Is there an ease of access to instructional material? How does that look like when the parents are jumping into the platform, trying to show their children?
Yeah, and that again, I mean, obviously when they're doing the lesson, it's going to be live. We are encouraging our teachers to record that lesson and then make it available to students for future reference. It's not a requirement. I mean, obviously we're working with our unions on everything. It's not a actual requirement, but we're strongly suggesting that. And we believe that for the most part, our teachers will do that, long as you're being recorded. And again, recording doesn't mean you're seeing me like right now. Some teachers and some people don't feel comfortable being viewed.
Correct.
But it could mean there's a PowerPoint filling the screen and then they hear the teacher talking. Or it could be that all the students are there and, you know, and you're in a small little box. I don't know how it's going to look. Each teacher will be different. We have what we call our document cameras, where maybe the teacher will be writing on a sheet of paper and you'll see their hand and they're solving the math problem. So it's going to look different for every class, but it will be that live interaction. And I think as people receive support and as, you know, parents are positive and encouraging, hey, it was so nice to see that recorded, you know, PowerPoint or see that recorded lesson. I think we can encourage everyone to want to do that. People do better when they get praise. I want to encourage everyone, praise the teachers when they're doing those extra things. They sent that extra correspondence. And I think that works well for students. It works well for me. You know, I like when people encourage me. I'm like, man, I got to do a better job. They really were happy when I did that. I better just keep doing that.
Just to keep some kind of social interaction alive and
yes.
that camaraderie throughout the school year. That's very important. As you mentioned, it's the high school football games. It's the basketball homecoming. Those are your memories when you go through all 4 years of high school. The fact that it's distance and you're creating this hybrid, we are working to try and get this back to live sessions, yes, as you mentioned, and the hybrid and the document signed and the way that you're presenting how the teachers will be on camera. That's very normal. I know during my class it was the same way. You would either have instructors that would feel comfortable being on camera, or it would just be the PowerPoint and the lecture while you're just hearing them talk in the background. Either way, the lesson will still be out there, and encouraging, the recording. That's wonderful. I do have a question from a resident here asking, when it comes to student interaction and with their classwork, how does that work? Because they said that there's mention of both the live instruction by the teacher themselves, and then there's the interaction part with the students themselves. How does that look? What does that really entail?
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things, and again, as you know, in a typical class period, if you're with a teacher, they're going to be asking students, so students, what do you think? So one of the things and one of the trainings that we're actually offering now is how do we get students to be more participating in each of the lessons? Yesterday, I mentioned that we were in our, it's called professional learning for our certificated staff. And I, of course, joined those. It was exciting for me. I'm watching like we're doing right now, but I'm the student. And I'm an adult student, but I'm listening to the presenter, and they're like, okay, click on here and you're gonna go to a Padlet, or you're gonna go to some other interactive methodology, and there'll be questions, or there'll be a survey. And then, okay, now you're breaking out into a small group. All of you here, you're gonna be working in this group here, and they'll actually be meeting with several students, and the students have to interact, type in their answers, then they all join the whole class, and then like you do with any small group, the teacher can jump in throughout the lesson and watch what's happening, but then they can also pull them all back, and then they can say, okay, we like group A, we want you to share out. And then the spokesperson would share out. Again, just like in a regular class, but now you're doing it online. Will every teacher be as skilled on every one of those techniques? At first, I'm going to say absolutely not. If I was the new teacher there, and again, I have not had to teach a class online like that, I saw some of the cool things that they used that I joined into, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do that one. And so I would start to incorporate those. So I would expect that as time goes on, teachers will become more proficient in those types of things, and it's going to help them to get that interaction. But there are also going to be other platforms set up for them to be able to get interaction, because again, having students contact one another is really vital. Mm-hmm. And focusing on work together. So we're hoping that's going to happen there. But like I said, eventually there will also be, for some students, if they need to, can I come on campus to get some of the support that I need? Mental health support, academic support. And we're going to be, as soon as we can offer those services, we're going to be offering those services. And again, it is a little bit of experiment. We need everyone that does come on campus, follow the procedures. Let's keep everybody safe. We don't want to have to shut down. And right now, the way the guidelines are, that if one of our schools has to shut down for a COVID-19 outbreak, since we have 4 high schools, that counts for 25%, all high schools must shut down. Because that's just
all of them?
If 25% of a school district has to shut down, the entire district must shut down. So if it even was an outbreak in Lawndale, unless they change the rules, which they haven't yet, and they can, rules change daily. If you're hearing me, be aware, rules change every day. We're getting rules on sports every day. They're changing. We had a superintendent meeting. They gave us some information, and at 4 o'clock from the same people, they said we gave all the wrong information to the superintendents. So things change all the time. The number one thing that doesn't change, keep students, staff, and families safe. That does not change. How do we keep them safe? And what does that look like? That's changing all the time. And so we appreciate, and I can tell you, our families and students and staff have been amazing, following the procedures, patient as can be. It's been amazing, and this has been a very successful time for us, thanks to the wonderful people we work with. I could not be happier with the families, the students, the staff that we have. They've been absolutely amazing from day one, and we are grateful for all of them.
It sounds like you've really built a strong community between all 4 high schools. And the fact that, so that's why it's very important to have this distance learning in the very beginning. The fact that if one high school were to shut down, you're shutting down the entire district. Even if one staff member were to contract COVID-19. So I know
Well,
there's
it's
been a
not
lot.
one staff member. It's actually a cohort of, there's like, they have some rules. If it's three,
Okay.
we're together. Now, if it was one in maintenance and then one in a class only, and they have a few rules. They had to be close contact, but if you have an outbreak, I think it's three or more.
Three.
And then that's when this other stuff starts to kick in. And they have a whole procedure on that our risk manager takes that and I let them take care of all the numbers and it kind of, but I will say this, I mean, we have had a couple of staff members that they tested positive, and within minutes, not hours, minutes, that staff member and anyone they had close contact with was contacted and they were removed from our school site. So we're not talking here about hours or days. It's minutes of us getting the information. We interview those people, interview anyone else, boom, that person, they're out. We are not letting anything interact, and our staff, that's why they're being very careful to keep their distance, no interactions of longer than 15 minutes, everyone with their masks on. Now, if you're out cutting grass in the football field, no, there's no mask requirement. You're the safety officer doing rounds by yourself. No, but you're in the hallway, you're not in your office. I'm in my office right now. I'm not wearing a mask, but if I'm in the hallway, on goes the mask. I'm visiting a school site, I've got my mask on. So again, we've got very strict procedures with the flexibility that we're not being unreasonable here. I don't want our people that are out working in the hot sun passing out and they're all by themselves, no one's. So we do have that, but again, it's within minutes. If one staff member were to have contacted or tested positive, how do we move? And our team has been amazing on that. Our unions have been amazing working with us to make sure we have a very clean system.
That's actually very impressive. The fact that within minutes, you guys are basically contact tracing.
Yes. Using
your own capabilities. We're instead of relying on an outside third party, which could take forever.
Yes.
And
of course, we contact all the agencies. We let them know as well within minutes, but we can't wait for them because we've known districts that's taken days. We can't wait.
No, there's no way.
It is minutes, and we have acted and moved. And it's been amazing. It's been really good, and there have not been any of these spread through employees. None. Zero.
I haven't heard anything coming out from the Centinela Valley School District of any kind of outbreak or spread of the virus to the point where we've had to shut down or start limiting access to the high schools. So the upcoming school year is going to look safe, at least for the beginning, less distance. And as we transition forward with a hybrid version, hopefully things can kind of transpire that way as well. I do have a resident here asking, when it comes to, you're mentioning that there were the school districts, the high schools were going to contact each and every individual student. What does that look like? And when it regards to of them accessing and actually coming to class, when they don't participate, what does that look like?
Yeah, and again, that's going to be one of those issues where obviously our teachers, and again, this is where there's so much communication happening between the various groups on our campus. So for example, obviously if a teacher recognizes that there's a student who's either not showing up, or when they're in there, they're not participating in the lessons, obviously the first line of defense or the first line of support is the teacher themselves. If I as a teacher and when I work with an individual, hey, I contact you individually, I can send you an email, hey, do you mind staying after class for a few minutes? And then we'll talk and be able to work on some of those issues. That's not working. That information is passed on to an administrator or directly to what we call an intervention specialist that we have at our sites, or to their counselor. And then those individuals then reach out and are offering that support as well. We then set up a system. So we may have now this year a new set of, for example, hey, this group of students that we have a list of them, they may need extra phone calls. So you know what? Let's call them every day or every other day. Or maybe set up so they contact us or we check in. Before you leave each day, send me an email saying how things went. It's not one size fits all. We don't want to be intrusive. We're not trying to badger students or families. But again, we want to make sure we're there. Now, if someone's not logging in at all, that's when the home visits come in. We can't let a student, there could be risk. I don't know what's going on. We'll go over there. We're not here to, again, we have SROs, we have safety, we have intervention specialists. They're going to go out by two. They'll never be just one usually going to a house. They'll be going out by two, in separate vehicles. Again, there's all these logistics, but they'll go
all these protocols just to make sure
Yes.
everything's kind of
We
done
want to keep
safely.
people safe, and we want to make sure our students feel supported. And I want families to know we're not here to criticize. Look, this is a big deal. You may need some support, and maybe we get there and you know, a parent needs some support. Well, we've got services for that. We have ways of helping each and every group, but we've got to know about the problem. Obviously, we've also in the past, and we'll continue, we've received referrals. We get, someone sends an email, you know, I don't want to be tattling or I don't want to be snitching, but so-and-so I think is going through a rough time. Can you contact them? That happens all the time. We then reach out and offer that support. If they find out, no, they don't really need the support, then we're not there to harass a person. We're not there to badger them. We're there to support them and encourage them. We want everyone to know, and this is where the advisory, 30 minutes every Monday, it's not a long period of time, but it's amazing what can be accomplished when students receive information. They will be taught how to advocate for themselves, how to get support. Where do I go? What do I do? Because we do understand that it's not just about giving you a lesson. It's not just about correcting the lesson, giving you a test and giving you a grade. It's about saying, how are you doing as a human being? How are you doing emotionally? Because I've got to get you to be successful, not just at school, but in life. And that is a huge concern of our board, a huge concern of our administrators, our teachers. It's one of my main issues, and I'm so thankful that we have set up items that are already in place, and now we're trying to improve upon them. I've met with some of our student groups, and they'll say, yeah, thank you, that's good to hear that, but they can do better. We can do better. We will do better, and we're improving upon that. And that's why, you know, again, we also had an equity training for 3 hours. All of our teachers were trained in equity. What does it look like helping students to be more successful in any group? You know, they may be one.
Oh, wow.
Were they bullied? What might that look like? How do you intervene? What can you do? Our theme this year, as you saw, I'm wearing my t-shirt, my hot pink t-shirt. Last year, it was show me the math. This year, our theme, and I'll have my new t-shirt, hopefully even by tomorrow, it's going to be lime green with some purple, and it's excellence through equity. Because our focus is making sure no racism, justice at every level. We hired, this is an important piece, and I haven't mentioned it yet, but we have an equity officer who is going to be a district position. It's a teacher with incredible skills that's going to be helping to monitor equity across the district. And then at every school site, we have what's called an equity coordinator, who's a teacher who's been given time to take a look and say, are there issues? Are there areas? Where are we falling down? What can we improve upon? That was approved by our board. We're using our extra funding for that. So we have an incredible equity team that is already started, and they'll be there, you know, working on behalf of our students, our staff, our families. Where there's a need, they're going to be there. People can feel comfortable going to that person. Some people feel comfortable coming to me or their principal, their teacher. Others may not. That's fine.
Right.
Find the person you feel comfortable going to, and we're going to help you with that. And we've created this network. And again, will this be everything perfect in a day, a week, a month? No, but they're going to be starting to look, reaching out, working together to make things better in our district. And our new shirt's going to have a compass on it and an arrow. We're not there yet, but we are headed in the right direction. We're moving forward. We're making things better. And we're looking forward to letting that team work directly with me, with the district administration, with the site administration, and with students and those that have concerns. This district wants to be the best place to learn in the South Bay. Hawthorne wants to be the best high school possible. Lusinger, Lawndale. We have students from Hawthorne in all 3 sites, and even at Lloyd, where that's a continuation school. It's a model continuation school. All of the supports are available at all of the high schools because every school is important. Every student needs the support. Every staff member needs that support.
The fact that the district is actually taking on this issue, and you guys created an equity council to help advise not only each high school, but the parents and students themselves, that's admirable. I don't really hear that from other school districts. This is the first time I've heard a complete council set up just on this to address equity issues, especially between different races and different social economic backgrounds.
Yep.
That's superb. I'm glad that you guys are able to find the extra funding and approve this needed council. Especially now as we're kind of seeing it in the climate now, especially within the news and the media and just outside in general. We shouldn't have this divide, especially when it comes to academia.
Yes.
Academia is all about collaborating, integrating our thoughts, and the only way to really grow is to work on different perspectives.
Yes.
There's no way to, it's kind of building a foundation. A house of cards can't stand up by itself. It's bringing the community together to create some kind of, almost like like what you've made at the school district, a utopia where students feel comfortable not only to go to class, but regardless of how their background is or any kind of physical or mental issue that they're going through, they know that there's a safe spot for them and a safe environment to address that. And you're right, that the parents and the students themselves, they should not be afraid of contacting either their teacher or a fellow friend, another parent, whoever they're comfortable with. Please, it's important for you to contact and stay open. Keep that open line of communication. There's no way for yourself or any of the other teachers to help unless they know of the problem. How can I, on my side, help advertise that kind of open communication? Because I know in high school, I was extremely overweight, so my nickname was Buddha. So, so there wasn't really an open environment for that kind of discussion. I wish I had that back in high school. It would have made transitioning through all 4 years a lot easier. How can I continue to promote that kind of message and work in collaboration with yourself and the school district?
Yeah, and that's always, again, it's funny. Communication is probably one of the hardest pieces for us, even in this digital age, to be able to achieve. I mean, I have a message sometimes. I tell all the managers the message, and I'm like, it's going to get out there and everyone will know. And you don't even, I'm talking to someone, I never heard of that. I'm like, okay, what do we do? I send out an email to all staff. They read it, they didn't read it. So to me, it's the consistency and the continuity. We have to keep reminding and promoting. And so when you hear of a concern, because you're going to come in contact with a lot of them in the community, it's,
right.
Oh, it's interesting you said that. Go to the website, remind them to do that, or pass on those information to me. I'm always happy to come back whenever you need, or one of our social worker. I'd love to have you interview at some point our district social worker. Kevin Brown is unbelievable. The guy is knowledgeable. He's been here for years, and we've just been expanding the program. He could answer all the questions about our wellness centers and about our social work program. Again, I'm also very proud that we work very closely with we call them, sometimes people say feeder school districts, but I call them the partner districts. So whether it's Lenox or Hawthorne School District or Lawndale Elementary School District, they're our partners. I work very closely with the superintendents, my counterparts, and then my executive staff, they work with their counterparts. Our kids start in preschool. And even though I don't see them here until 9th grade, they are our students. And the superintendents and the schools have made it very clear that when they leave them in 8th grade and come to us, they're still all our students. So we're working very closely together. We have some unique arrangements, even with the social workers, so that these interns can get experience at an elementary school level as well as the high school level. So this is not just us and what we're doing. We're working with the K-8 schools to ensure that we have these continuity. How do we make sure things are working? And that has been very, very helpful for us. Again, is it perfect? No, we're still working to make it better. Are we trying to do it right? Absolutely, because we believe in our students, and that's why we're working very hard on this. And so, again, that's what we're trying to do there. And again, we're working to make things better. But again, getting the word out, reminding people, every once in a while, the reminder, the tweets, retweeting things. If you see stuff from if you follow me, I'll do tweets that may or may not fit the message you want to send. but it's just getting all the stuff out there on a consistent basis. I've tried to get our staff to say, guys, retweet what I send, or retweet the district stuff, because it's good information, and then it starts to multiply faster. I have some tweets like, when Lawndale High School won the state football tournament, woo, 5,000 likes on that tweet. Literally, it was unbelievable. I send home the first day of school, you know, woohoo!
If you get
likes.
5, you're lucky.
I need 1,000 likes on that one. So again, it's getting the information out little by little through multiple measures. And then if there's a concern, don't just be mad, contact somebody. Send an email, do a visit, you know, do whatever has to happen. Again, our school principals are fantastic. All of our sites, they're open, they're willing to meet. We've got open door policies. We love meeting with the public. Work with the community liaisons. You know, students, work with your teachers and counselors. You know, work as you can, and that'll make a lot better chance for success.
You know, touching on that, so what I'm going to do on my side, and it's getting that information out there and creating a one-stop shop for this open line of communication. So I know on my website, I'm going to be placing kind of almost like a hotline and a tab for all Centinela Valley School District needs, in a sense, and then having active feeds of all the social platforms that you guys have, and just continuing to promote those messages. Everything that's being sent out is, of course, made for a reason. So if you're creating a post or a tweet or an Instagram message, well, there's a reason behind it. So I know I'm going to be dedicated spreading that out to all the residents. And that's been the biggest thing, is during this whole pandemic and everyone being separated, communication is key. And that's why we're setting up these town halls and these virtual office hours, to show that even though we're separated, we're still together. You're not alone. And the fact that we're still next door, and they shouldn't have any issue of contacting anyone. So I know I'm going to push that. I know it's needed, and I know we're nearing close to the end. I don't want to take too much. You're very busy with all 4 high schools, but I do have a couple questions, and then we'll wrap up. I have another question from Alexis Acivas. She asked, have you surveyed students and families about how they feel about SROs showing up to their homes at all? Did they get input from students and families about whether they wanted money allocated to SROs?
Yes. At the last board meeting, we did approve our SRO contracts. We have been very fortunate. The Hawthorne Police Department and our Los Angeles Sheriff's Department have been fantastic, working with us over the years to provide us with highly qualified individuals that not only know the law enforcement side, but are actually very concerned about students, their well-being, their safety. And as throughout the years, we've only had positive impact, or positive input. In particular, our parents have always asked for additional law enforcement. They've asked for additional resources. They've never said we need less. They always want more. As you know, while school shootings right now may not be an issue, they certainly have been in the past. But our SROs have been used oftentimes to offer support to students that are struggling. We've set up programs where they actually are able to work with some of the officers, the SROs, and be able to meet some of the needs of those students, because each student has different needs. Some students do not need a lot of interaction with law enforcement. They're doing fine. They don't have any problem. Others may need that information. I think I need to make it really clear to the community is that SROs are not there to arrest students, and they're not there to discipline students. They're there to keep us safe and to offer support. And so that's what they've been doing, and that's what we're reimagining them to be doing as well. So as obviously the changes that we've gone through in both the pandemic as well as the social changes, we understand that there are a lot of challenges that face law enforcement right now. But we want to work with them, and our SROs and the people that they work with and their chiefs, the chief of police in Hawthorne in particular, he's told us, hey, whatever you guys need, we'll be willing to do it. And we'll dress the way you need us to dress, whatever it is. If it's causing any angst, any unhappiness, any fear, let's kind of modify that so that we can continue to build relationships. Part of the SRO program, and this is very important, is that law enforcement is everywhere. They're in our society, they're in different cities, different states. I need our students to be able to have positive, successful interactions with law enforcement in a safe place like a school or a school setting. So maybe our SROs right now, the plans are they'll be doing some town halls with our students. And so they'll be having small groups where students can ask their questions, express their concerns that aren't just about SRO, but what about the community? What are things that they are concerned about, fearful of? There is no reason to be fearful of a police officer. That's not needed. You can feel confident that they're there to protect you. But again, we need to start building those relationships. So they've done coffee with a cop, donuts with a cop. They've done lots of different things. Well, guess what? They're going to do some of those now online. Also, our SROs are being trained in the exact same social emotional supports that all of our staff is being trained on. So yes, 2 days ago, we had training for all of our safety officers, which are our staff, and the SROs were there as well, learning about restorative practices, de-escalation skills, how to work with students that are going through challenging situations at school or at home. We're training them. They come to our trainings. They're letting our African American task force, our equity team, train them so they can be successful with our students. Now, we have put out multiple surveys, students, teachers, staff. Some things, of course, as things change this last summer, things have happened so quickly. Some of those questions haven't been asked directly of them. They will be in the future. But again, we've had a very positive relationship with law enforcement. And the second piece I forgot to end, not only are they learning to respect cops, and police officers and law enforcement, but law enforcement can take what they learn back to their departments so that the departments become more knowledgeable. What's causing problems? What can we do differently? If you stop communication between law enforcement and schools, it will not become better. Silence won't make it better. It's interacting that's going to make our relationship better. We're grateful that in our school district, we've had very good relationships. And while I know every relationship can get better, some of the national concerns aren't necessarily the concerns we're facing in our neighborhoods. And we cannot conflate the two. Some places and some areas of the country, some areas of maybe even our region, they have serious issues. We're working with law enforcement to create positive interactions. And that's exactly what we've had with our SROs over multiple years. Again, never receiving a complaint about them prior to some of the concerns that have expressed now recently with the defund the police movement. And so we are very confident that the people we have in place are very good individuals that are working successfully, and we want to improve that. And we will make it better, and we're looking forward to a very successful year trying some different things, even through distance learning and distance interactions.
The fact that you're actually having the SROs and this interaction between the student body themselves and the SROs, I think is going to help bridge that gap. A lot of the issues kind of rise of there is no open line communication. They want these community advocate groups. They want to have these SROs actually hear the concerns or actually come from the community that they're serving. So having this open dialogue to start shifting and reimagining the policy, and especially on the whole reform issue, is taking and working as a community to address these concerns. But it all starts with open line of communication. We're bringing everyone to the table to start talking, to start collaborating. It hasn't really been done before. And the fact that you're taking the initiative with the school district to bridge that gap, especially on this touchy subject, I applaud you for that. That is one of the biggest concerns, is how can we advocate community engagement, create these community advocacy groups to help these different departments actually shift and change policy that are needed and actually wanted by the residents themselves, where they feel safe that they're not being, either attacked or whatever the case might be. Yes. We want to shift, we want to reimagine and grow, and that's the only way to evolve. I love that, and the fact that you're having these SROs. Even I would love to, anytime they have some of those, coming in there and kind of hearing how the discussions are going and how I can even enact policy through my council seat to
Yes.
help further that engagement, to help further the needs of the residents and how I can also transition.
And we really appreciate, Chief Ishii has just been amazing. I mean, he comes to meetings, he contacts me directly when there's a concern in the community. We've had a very open communication line. We're very grateful for the support that they've given us over the years, and they're very desirous of making it better. Because I do understand that, again, like you mentioned, there are people that they're nervous and there's a lot of issues. Well, let's address them in a positive way. Let's work, let's talk. If we don't talk together, we're never going to make things better. And I believe like I mentioned, I've said it already before, the good community members, the good parents, the good students, the good staff members, the good law enforcement, let's come together. And where there's issues that we need to change, we can change those things. And we want to make ourselves better. And that was my message to staff when the equity team shared on yesterday. I gave the intro and I said, guys, I've been self-reflecting as a human being during this pandemic. I want to be better. If we work to be better humans, just imagine what we can accomplish. And we are a small community. I mean, we're close-knit. Yes, we're within this huge other community, but we have a chance to show what can be done when people communicate, they talk, they work together, they presume positive intentions as opposed to judging people negatively and thinking the worst of them. I have to do that with myself, with others, and I hope people do it with me as well. That, well, maybe he's not trying to destroy me. No, I'm trying to help, but maybe I did something wrong. I can apologize. Let's work together. Let's make things better. And that's our goal.
I love that. And the Equity Council, are they also included in these SRO and student meetings?
It's interesting because they will probably be the ones that organize those. And so we're looking forward to them. Again, this is something completely new that we're attempting. And so, school is starting on Monday, so they probably won't have one on Tuesday. But I would say we'll be having one, for sure by the beginning of September, those first meetings will start to take place. We probably will not have 1,000 students at once. Let's break it down. Maybe we'll start with some seniors, or maybe we'll start with ASB group and see what they're going to say. And because I want it to be positive for everyone. And that's a very important.
Right.
It can't be negative for the law enforcement side or negative for our side. Let's all work together. Let's start to expand it. Like I said, you never know when someone's going to find interest in a topic. Sometimes I get lots of people to show up. I remember when I did my, end of the year message, we did some town halls and I had, several hundred people that were joining calls. And then sometimes I'll do something and there'll be, 15 people. So it's fine. I'm happy for 15. I've done presentations for 2 people in my life. So I have no problem doing it for small groups, because if 2 people show up, they need the information. And so I'm not bothered by size of group. I want to help whoever wants the help and wants the information.
And that's right. In regards to the group size, if it's one parent, one student, they deserve all that time and attention. The fact that they took the time out and actually came to you and said, I need help, or I need this bit of information. Can you provide it to me? This open door policy you're creating with all these different advocacy groups and the teachers, and it's revolutionizing how school districts are going to function, especially now during the future. And the fact that you're taking the forefront on doing this, especially with the different agencies around us, with no complaints so far.
I will say no complaints about some of the items. Now we do,
right.
As you know, there are some groups, and this is always the challenge, and if any of those groups are there, they say, well, I said I wanted something, and they'll use the word demand. That's what I've been hearing more often than not lately. And then you didn't do it. Well, every group has to remember there are multiple voices. There are multiple groups. And that's been a challenge, getting everyone to see that just because we don't do the exact thing you wanted doesn't mean we didn't listen. Respect what you have to say. But at the end of the day, we have to hear all the voices and make a decision with what we think is best. And then if that isn't the best decision, it's called, we can make adjustments. And in almost every situation, if we need to adjust, I am not the kind of person, my cabinet is not set up that if we make a decision, sorry, we're standing strong on that forever. If it's not working, let's change it. So we're open to change, and every group needs just to remember, because I know it doesn't matter what group I meet with. I meet with so many, and then we bring all that information together. Not always will we be able to do, because there's conflicting views. One says this, one says that, one says the other. We have to weigh all of that based also on experience. I mean, as you mentioned at the beginning, I got 25 years in public education. I've got a PhD in education. I have staff members around me that are experts in each of their areas. There are a lot of very wise voices out there, but yet we're in a new landscape and we're trying to do what's best. And so if we make a mistake, I'll be the first to apologize and to correct it where I can. But again, everyone has to understand that their voice can be heard, doesn't mean we're doing everything that they want. And that's always a key for people to understand.
The fact that you're having this open line communication with all the different groups, it's the first step where a lot of other agencies are not even taking. They won't even open the door or even take the call or sit down with them. The fact that you're not afraid to, and you're starting this conversation to collaborate and address the concerns, that's where everything starts. And it's going to be a slow process. Things don't get fixed overnight. This is a new landscape. But I'm glad you guys are looking at addressing these issues, tweaking policy, and then whatever you need from my side to tweak, I'm there right with you. I do want to let you not take up more of your time, because I'll go into more city business, and I still have a whole other half of the show. But I did to for you to kind of sign off, and the last message to the students and parents. I want to thank you for taking the time out and doing this Q&A, this town hall. The residents are now a lot at ease, more at ease now than prior, of understanding how this new distance learning is going to look like, how the upcoming academic year is going to be for their children, and the students themselves. They don't have to have this glooming cloud of, not only do I have to be a freshman in high school, because I remember how that felt, and losing the interaction of being around your friends. I'm just glad that someone like you is in that position, because you do bring that lively spirit. I've seen you all 5 years, especially at the senior award ceremonies. It's never a dull moment, and you're always smiling. So I do appreciate the fact that you're this committed. I've never really met a superintendent within the high school level that's been this involved. I really haven't. So the fact that you're doing this, I always enjoy seeing you at the award ceremonies. And then for the residents at home, when we say Dr. O'Brien is exceptionally well at speaking in both English and Spanish, you have to see this in person. I've never seen someone translate. It's almost sentence by sentence. You don't just go through the whole speech first. You do sentence by sentence, and that's always something amazing to see. And that's you caring enough to even address that there are individuals that don't speak English for a first language. We all come from different backgrounds, and you're cognizant about it, and you're addressing it. So I'm happy that you're not turning a blind eye to it, and kind of wanted to let you give a last message, and to the parents, students, especially when we go to the CV way of this next academic school year. I can't wait.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate so much this opportunity, and I'm certainly welcome to come back. And I know any of our principals, they would love to be here and join you. Like I mentioned, some of our other individuals. Students, we can't wait to see all of you in class on Monday morning. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for us, but we believe in you, and we are going to do things differently, more effectively, and you can be successful. We want you to take advantage of every opportunity, because your future is at stake. Seniors, we have not forgotten about you in particular. This year is going to be different. ASB, I want to work with you. We're going to help make some exciting activities, some of them virtual. We'll see what we can do face to face, but we are doing everything in our power to be able to make this year special for you. But the key thing is your education. You must get a good education. You must pass these classes so you can get that diploma, get into college, and get that good job. We want you to have a good life, and we're here to support you in any way we can. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Awad. We appreciate it, and you have a great day.
You too. Have a nice one. Stay safe and wear your mask now.
I will. Woo. Put it on right now.
I have to make sure I start wearing mine right after this meeting. But have a nice one, Dr. O'Brien, and thank you again. For the rest of the residents that are still on, and we were running, it was a longer town hall than expected. I am going to have an additional, not few, but few more moments now to answer any Q&As and give any updates that are coming from the city side. Let me see, and address any additional questions that you might have on our recent discussion. To give you a few updates regarding City Hall. So yes, we are still closed to the public, but we are still inside working every day. We have, there's an update on the trash pickup, especially when it comes to bulk items and Republic service. We have this hotline now and report page on my website, HaidarHawthorne.com. And we're addressing it now with city staff and code enforcement in cleaning up these areas. So please, if you do have any issue regarding bulk item trash within your neighborhood or just trash everywhere, I'm driving within the city more and more, and I just don't, it's alarming to me, and I don't like seeing our community treated in such a way. So please report them. I've allocated funds for this particular issue in itself. We do not want to have our city becoming a dump. So please go to report dumping at HaidarHawthorne.com. I've started sending out all the additional reports to our city manager and code enforcement. They've addressed a lot of areas. Just kind of be aware that it does take time to go to each and every single neighborhood and parts of the community. So if you have made a report, just give it some time. You know, we have, let me see, our task force is set up between 5 to 8 individuals at one time. I'm starting my own cleanup crew through the Citizens Advisory Committee that I set up, and to also give a little update on that as well. And to the members that are on the committee itself, we're going to start having these scheduled cleanup days. So I'm going to start advertising those. So if you have a particular, if any resident out there has a particular area that needs cleaning, send me an email. We'll come out as a group, create this community involvement, and really take back our city. And come as a city of good neighbors and really address these issues. The other unique update from the Citizens Advisory Committee is Brody Rodriguez, who is on the committee, brought up the idea of a community fridge. What was unique was within, I want to say, I think 3 to 4 days, and Brody was able to take the idea and concept, working with LA Community Fridge, and actually have one set here in the city of Hawthorne. I'm very happy for the fact that it's now being painted. I'm working with him now to ensure that there's one location set to go live soon. I'm also working to get another site set up for him as well. So the more engagement we can have, especially from the community, we can actually increase this program and roll out even faster. The whole idea behind the community fridge is it's basically for everyone. You come in, donate what you can, and take what you need. And it's all about creating this open environment, safe space for all of us. So we're having one set up. I'm exceptionally happy about this being pushed forward, and the fact that it took just a few days of working together with these residents. He was able to get his idea pushed forward and knocking it out of the park. So please go follow the Hawthorne Community Fridge. I know it's on Instagram. He set up a volunteer page. He's had, I think, 40 individuals now sign up just to be volunteers for the community fridge. I'm donating meals there as well. I know the Pastor Jefferson at Delaware Baptist Church from his food bank is also delivering and giving access to not only canned foods, dry food, but it's also going to be meats and seafood because it's an actual working fridge. So I want individuals to kind of know that yes, it's an actual working fridge. there's not only going to be canned food, but actual meats and cheeses and everything in that nature. We're also going to be putting alongside it a cupboard, in a sense, drawers and things like that, because it's a community fridge aspect where not only you're donating food, but other supplies. If you have leftover clothes, if you have anything that you can donate to the community, and especially to help address our homeless issue. There's a lot of residents now and a lot of individuals being heavily compacted by COVID-19. They've either lost their homes, they've lost everything. So please be aware that this is an issue that's still here in Hawthorne. We should not vilify these individuals, and we should be good neighbors. So please be aware of that. Help out as you can. There are good neighbors, and we should treat them the same way. That was on that update on that. Oh, so much talking about myself. Dry mouth. Let's see. We also have I want to thank the residents also for the quick update on the petition that was sent out for the Senator Bradford's COVID-19 relief package when it comes to eviction on the commercial and residential side, but also giving relief to the landlords themselves when they're helping out their tenants. Because of the amount of, there it is on screen, because the amount of residents that signed the petition and the separate emails, I think we were going to 150 individuals and separate emails that went to city council that actually helped speak out and push the support from the city council, where when I sent my letter of support on Tuesday night, I was able to get the entire council with the community's help to also have them send one from City Hall. Having this united front, Senator Bradford is exceptionally happy with the amount of support he's seeing. He's also getting the same emails as the council was for the council meeting, and it's progressing forward rapidly. There's also another big update that I wanted to give the residents some insight to. In addition to, I'm having this mailed out this weekend, that the LA County in itself has a new rent relief program. So there were talks recently on, the allocated funds given to the county, and there was this big fight on, these smaller cities are trying to get a piece of their pie. Essentially what ended up happening was they took the allocated new funds and created this rent relief program of over, I think it's $100 million that they're using to address rent relief. So this was what the county was working on, especially when they were acquiring these new funds from the state. I'm glad they didn't lose any of it, especially in these court cases where you had separate cities trying to take that money. They committed to helping the residents. So it's my headphones on. It's $100 million. They've allocated $100 million to address this issue, and they're accepting applications from August 17th to August 31st. And as you can see on the screen, so eligibility is based on income, financially impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's open to all LA County renters with exception of the Los Angeles residents. Now, and the reason for that exception is they have their own separate mountain of funding. So luckily the county is able to just keep this source of revenue and funds for this side of the South Bay. Again, even though it says LA County renters, what is unique about this particular program is Hawthorne itself is included in it. So 90250, whether it's incorporated or unincorporated, it is inside this program. So please, if you need this assistance, apply now. It starts like August 17th to August 31st, or visit 211la.org. It is kind of based on a lottery system, but there's a lot of funds being allocated, particularly to this program. And this is in addition to Senator Bradford's bill. So they're separate, it's not the same thing. So you're having two separate relief packages coming in. This one's starting on August 17th, and knock on wood, with the letter of support from myself and now the city council, we'll have that to help also the landlords themselves. I don't want the landlords out there thinking that there's no love to them. If you guys don't pay your mortgage, then the bank will foreclose not only on yourself, but on the tenant. So it has to be a community and approach to it. So we haven't forgot about you guys, and it's not just one-sided. So we're working on ensuring that the landlords themselves are taken care of, just as we're doing for the residents. I know I have a question here on, let's see. Oh, let me just fix this. There we go. That's why. So I have a resident here from Maya Farley. Hello, Haidar. Not sure if this is a question you can answer. I haven't received my mail in several days. Sorry, again, my mouth is kind of dry. Talking a lot kind of makes you thirsty. Do we know anything about what's going on with the Postal Service? That's a very good question, and something I have been working with the Postal Master about, and it is. So on the federal side, there have been, I want to say, games being played where the funds allocated to the postal office have been kind of restricted, and it's sad to see this game being played just because of an election year. It's mail for everyone. It shouldn't be a partisan issue, and these kind of services should not be played with at the same time. So when sitting down with the Postal Master, he did address that, and it's a unique program now, and I'm going to actually provide this link on my website. So they're going to start merchandising some assets, in a sense. So they're creating shirts, they're creating all kind of different goods to sell online, basically, and it's to help fund these separate post offices. So please, it's a unique program, and they actually look pretty cool. So please go on to any of your local post office websites, and I've done it recently. I've bought a few shirts. I've bought backpacks just to have, that gear in order to help get staff members into the post office. So again, it's a new approach to gaining funding, because on the Fed side, they are restricting and still withholding some funds. They've taken the approach of, well, fine, we'll create our own little marketing marketing plan, and start going out to the individuals themselves and selling stuff. I mean, they have shirts, sweats, backpacks. They're doing everything. So please spread the word. The more funds we can get into our postal office, the sooner we can have our mail system back in running order. I know he's trying to get this done and regulated prior to the election as well. It's going to be a very big election, and the amount of mail-in ballots, because the whole state is now doing mail-in ballots. We're working to address that. We do want every person's voice heard, so we're setting up mail vote security boxes, drop-off boxes in different parts of the city. So essentially what it is imagine a ATM style box, and it's heavily secured, and there's cameras around it, and it's a location where you can drop off your vote, and it's taken to the county. I want to say, because they're not massive boxes, so the second they're getting full, the same way the banks have their money transferred using these armored trucks, is the same way these votes are going to be transferred from the drop-off location to the county to be counted. So be aware of this, that especially for the upcoming election, and this is statewide, they are going to deploy this program where these ATM style drop boxes to help further along, to help the post office workers especially for this upcoming election. We don't want to have any voter suppression. We want everyone to come out and vote. And it shouldn't be, your vote should not count just because the post office was, understaffed because of games being played. So the postmaster also took that concern to heart. So he started this program working with the county, having these boxes being dropped off. So we're having one now into the city of Hawthorne. They're actually looking to have, I think, 3 or 4 more implemented here in the city alone. So be aware of that. But yes, the mail has been lagging, and if you look it up now, there have been recent articles regarding the funds being played around with. So please support your local post office by going on their website, purchasing merchandise, and these funds go straight into hiring more staff, truck drivers, whatever the case might be. It goes there in order to circumnavigate the games being played. I hope that kind of addresses your question. It is a big issue. Unfortunately, we are going to be with this for I want to say at least a few more weeks until they find out exactly what to do on the statewide federal budget regarding the postal service. But at least now local post offices are setting up their own version of a GoFundMe in a sense, but using merchandise and branding it themselves. They have post office or postal service. So please go support that and support the hardworking men and women of the post office. Oh, it's been a while since I've spoken this long. Let's see, I have another question here from, oh, no, you're very welcome, Maya. But I do want to say that it has improved since, I want to say a few weeks prior and a couple of months prior. There was at one point, I know it was like taking a week and a half. I want to say 2 weeks too, just for mail to arrive to residents, period. I've seen, and I know many of you have seen the same thing where there's postal service trucks at 10:30 at night just to finally deliver some of these mails, some of the packages, and just to catch up and keep up. It went from 2 to 3 weeks to now there's a delay of, I want to say, sometimes of 3 to 4 days. It's a very big difference, but whatever he needs from my office, I'm helping. But it is a federal issue. And hopefully stop playing games where we can start actually getting our mail on time. Let's see. The next question I have are, from Jose Cervantes. When are you guys going to open the parks? You should see bathrooms at Jim Thorpe Park. So I know a lot of the parks are open now, and on the Parks and Rec department within our city website. Actually, I'm going to provide that link now. So on this particular, I'm going to send you guys a link where it has the entire open schedule for all the different city facilities for the upcoming months, especially as we're dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's also housed on my separate website, so I'm going to provide both. Usually on my website, I've made it easier to find. On the city website, I'm still working with them to make it a more user-friendly interface. They're revamping it, and I've heard a lot of complaints from the residents saying that it's hard to find anything because it's just deep within certain links or certain departments. So if you also go on my website, whatever you're looking for, whether it's code forms, wanting speed bumps in your street, preferential parking, painting the T parking spots, whatever it is, everything's been digitized when it comes to our documentation at City Hall. So it's easily accessible, especially on my website. On the city's website, you do have to go through certain tabs and departments. But let me send you guys this right now. Let's see. Hawthorne. Let's see. There you go. And I'm getting from some of the residents that there's a echo. Hopefully the echo stopped. I know my headphones went. I don't know. Let me see. Yep. Okay, so we department, rec and community. Also, can I have the on the actual share screen? Can we also provide the blog post of the actual PDF file for the county, not for the city facilities being opened? Let's see. I want to provide everyone both. Here we go. So on this website here, use this. Where's the chat? There we go. So use this link here when it comes to accessing any information regarding park facilities, securing community rooms within our memorial center, whatever question you have regarding anything parks related, use this link below. Our Parks and Rec director is Vaughn Norris. He's provided his phone number on the website, and his hours are the same as City Hall. So every alternating Friday, he's off. That's because City Hall itself is closed. But we're there Monday through Thursday from, I want to say 7 to 5. And then for the Fridays that we are open, it's 7 to 4. So just be aware of if you're coming in Friday or contacting or wanting to contact anyone from City Hall on Friday, just be aware that certain Fridays we are off. So whatever Friday we're on, just know that the next Friday we're completely out. Now, when you asked about the park openings, was there a particular? Have you not seen them? Have they denied you access to the parks? Kind of like the futsals at Memorial Center are being utilized. The futsals actually at every park have been utilized a lot lately, especially the basketball courts in Holly Park at the Memorial Center. There isn't really a park shut down. They're just social distancing measures that the residents have to partake in just to ensure that there's no spread of the COVID-19 virus. So on the same link, you'll find those measures. Make sure to keep 6 feet apart. Depending on what area of the parks you're in and which park, certain amount of individuals can gather at, say, the weight station or the slides or the futsal courts. So just be aware of what those requirements are, and as long as you're within protocol and practicing social distance, every park should be open. So Jose, if they are denying you access, I know they shouldn't be, but they are open for the community. And in regards to the bathrooms at Jim Thorpe Park, is it very is it messy inside? Is it not being well kept? If that's the case, the same Parks and Rec department is who I would contact now to ensure that those bathrooms are being kept. I know there was an issue at Holly Park regarding the restrooms as well. We addressed it to Parks and Rec, and they went out there and did a thorough cleaning to ensure that everything's back to code. But please don't allow the restrooms to get to that point. Please call either myself or City Hall. Public health is the main focus right now, especially with the pandemic. So please, I can't stress this enough, either call myself, call City Hall, send an email, whatever you have to do, bother us night and day to make sure that all city facilities are well kept. I have another question from JJ Mo, asking, are there any voting plans for the November elections? So when it comes to voting plans, I can kind of give you an overview of what at least the state of California is doing and the LA County. So of course, as some of you know and should know, that all registered voters in the state of California can now mail in their ballot. So you do not have to go to a polling place or a polling location on election day and vote. You'll receive your ballot in the mail and you can send it right back out. Or, and you know, we don't want to stress and strain our postal service offices now. These ATM storage strong boxes are going to be deployed not only in Hawthorne, LA County-wide, and statewide. So I know the county is going to be setting up a separate tab within their website showing all the different locations of these mail drop-off vote boxes. I'm also going to have that on my website when they're actually disclosed and finalized. They're working right now to finalize all these separate locations. And we're working with the county too to ensure that they're not tampered with and that every voter can submit their vote, whether they want to do it at the poll. So you can still go to the poll and vote. You're not, they're not taking that away. They're just offering other avenues to submit your vote to ensure that your safety is well kept. So that's the plan. Those are the plans for the November election. There will be no voter suppression. Every individual can have their vote counted, either mail or go to the polling location that you're registered for. Yeah. Let's see, Martha. Martha Valensula, I have a complaint about the trash in the street and sidewalk, especially Hawthorne Boulevard and the parking lots of the stores. Yeah, so especially though those particular parking lots within Hawthorne Boulevard. I've driven out there myself. I've seen this wide. How would I say this? They for some odd reason keep amassing trash, especially behind the buildings, because on Hawthorne Boulevard, what's unique is that all the storefronts kind of go up against the street itself. So a majority of the parking is behind the buildings, kind of away from public view. The problem with that is it's almost like an attraction site for individuals to kind of dump their trash. They're thinking that they should get away with it. So what my office is doing at the same time telling code enforcement to go out there and clean the areas, we're also now addressing the business owners themselves and citing them for not cleaning up the trash behind their own companies. Regardless of how it gets there, I know it seems kind of unfair, but you have to upkeep your business, upkeep it. So we are, unfortunately, we are going to start finding businesses that do not adhere to the wellness of their surrounding areas. And this was really to help kind of address this whole trash issue. It shouldn't be just on the city residents to create certain committees to go out and clean the trash. It shouldn't be on, City Hall to continuously go out there and spend taxpayer money to address an issue that the landowner or business owner should be doing. Now, of course, if you're a small mom and pop shop, or if you're a mid-sized business that is struggling and you don't have the resources to clean the area, let us know ahead of time so it doesn't become this great huge pile on your site. This way we can address it sooner. It's easier to take care of, and there's no hauling fees that would then be cited. I want to say on the property. So please, if you're a business owner or if you're a landlord of a particular size apartment or a condo complex,
please call City Hall ahead of time if you cannot upkeep the trash around the surrounding areas, because code enforcement is not only going to be out there cleaning up the trash, but citing the property owners for not upkeeping their side of the street. And that also includes the sidewalk in front of your place of business or apartment/condo complex. And Martha, was there a particular storefront in Hawthorne Boulevard that's in particularly bad shape now? Like a certain business is like a restaurant, Goodwill, 99-cent store, Denny's. I was waiting for that reply. I'm gonna go to the next question, where it's JJ Mo. I asked landlords, how come if renters are paying our rents? JJ, if you can kind of re-ask the question, I'm kind of a little confused on maybe just the way it's phrased. How come if renters, are you asking why should landlords have some sort of relief, or if it's addressing that kind of topic, I would want to say the reason why you want to help and the reason why the city and my office is also addressing the landlords is the relief packages are very unique. What it's kind of doing is creating an incentive program for landlords to help their tenants. So if they participate in this relief package, then they would have their mortgage subsidized through this program. So it's a working partnership between not only the landlord but the tenant and the state. And this is the only way to kind of make it a fair process where not everyone's kind of losing out. We don't want to increase the homeless count in Hawthorne. It's high as it is now, and we need to address that in itself. We don't want. I don't want to keep seeing residents becoming homeless and living on the streets and not having access to food, water, or basic needs. So please, anything you can do to direct me or inform me of who needs this additional help, don't hesitate to tell me. But the answer to your question, JJ, the reason why we're also looking into landlords is it's incentivizing them to not right away kick out their tenants and then placing them on the street. We're trying to find different ways of addressing the issue to keep everyone housed, especially during this pandemic. To go back to Jose, your question was, there's caution tape all over the baseball field and softball field. Huh, you know, let me see. Let me look into that for you right now. Here we go. Okay. For the baseball fields, summer youth clinics. By the way, if you go to my website under the, let's see, the news section and under the blogs, you'll see there's videos posted regarding our summer youth baseball clinics and a wide range of programs being implemented digitally as well. When it comes to this particular topic, which is baseball and softball. So please go and access those videos. It kind of gives you further information on, you know, what the layout's going to be like for these particular facilities. But to answer your question, Jose, here we go. For softball fields, they should not be. I just there we go. Let's see. No. Park permits, park rentals. There you go. Summer use, okay. Okay, so for adult open play basketball, let's racquetball. You know what's unique is it's a very good question. Now that you're bringing to my attention that they still have that roped off, and I can't seem to find the. It's a very good issue now. The schedule for the baseball fields I know we had on the community PDF for all city services, but let me. Like no numbers for today. Park. Let's see. So I'm trying to look up particularly Jim Thorpe baseball and softball fields. There you go. Huh. What's odd is let's see. Sorry, it's taking a little longer. I don't know why this particular baseball and softball field is harder to find. Facebook firework. You know, as I'm continuing to look for that, for Jim Thorpe Park, let me see if I can find answering some of these other questions here. But I'm still going to be looking at the schedule for you, so don't worry on that. Let's see, the next question we have here. Let's see. It should not be this hard to find this this line item. But on the question side, we have. Whoop. You're very welcome. Oh, wait. JJ Mo, I'm glad that my the answer regarding the landlords kind of addressed that concern. And Martha, you brought up it looks really bad and I feel insecure. Ralph's and CVS. Let me write that down. I know it's a shame that Ralph's in particular is being a nuisance. Here we go. So Ralph's and CVS on Hawthorne Boulevard. Okay. On 118th Street. Thank you, Martha, for that. It shouldn't. Oh yeah. I actually remember driving by that yesterday and actually seeing it beginning to have its own little clutter. I'm gonna let code enforcement know now. It is kind of alarming to how it's being kept now, and the businesses themselves should be addressing this issue, and to have the residents have to deal with this health hazard? No. It's unacceptable. So I'll send code enforcement out to not only help clean up the area, but also to cite the business owners for not upkeeping their parcel. I think we're all caught up on the questions. It's been you can tell me trying to keep talking. A little tiring. But I'm gonna still look for, that the last thing I'm gonna do is find this baseball information. I don't know why now it's. So there's family open play basketball and adult open play basketball. The fee is $1 per person, and it's Monday through Saturday. Same thing with volleyball, and there's adult racket, and there's an adult basketball league. But the fact that why is it that baseball itself Where's the fact? Registration class schedule. Yeah. Now, Jose, also about the baseball fields, is there any if there's no construction being done around the area, class is located inside, that it shouldn't be wrapped up in caution tape. So I'm actually going to call code enforcement and Parks and Rec to see why that is occurring. But from my knowledge, we have the basketball courts open, futsal. I don't know why those particular baseball fields would be tied up. I know that the Little Leagues were trying to start their season, or actually have some kind of season this year, and they were all kind of shut out. But that's on their own league kind of formation. On the city side, I mean, I've seen a bunch of individuals utilizing these areas, the tennis court, the basketball courts, futsal, even the park itself and the equipment there. So I'm going to contact them now and see what the issue is regarding those two particular baseball fields. But I know everything else has been utilized and open. As I'm starting to get late, and I think I need to either get lunch or actually drink a whole bunch more water. I want to thank you guys for attending. I'll be sending out this information regarding the conversation we had with the superintendent from the Centinela Valley School Board, Dr. O'Brien. It was wonderful to have him here to kind of discuss with you guys how the upcoming school year is going to look like. The next town hall I'm going to have, and this is coming from the request of a lot of the residents here. It's going to deal with particularly on, I want to say, business topics, and almost like a resource town hall regarding jobs and businesses. The idea is to have the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce president on my virtual town hall with the South Bay Whip, Director Jan Vogel. So the Jan Vogel, being the president of the South Bay Whip, they help individuals actually find jobs. So they relocate and provide access to a wide range of job sites or opportunities that they are advertised, but sometimes that it's not really well known. So having him on the next town hall, especially with the Hawthorne Chamber President, Patricia Donaldson, I think that those two individuals discussing, the business environment, the ecosystem on the economic side, and how to get these residents and yourselves access to jobs, and well-paying jobs. We don't want to have, the pandemic beat us all. So I am going to start planning that one with those two individuals. And I think it'll be a great discussion to see how both the Chamber and the South Bay Whip can further open their lines of communication to the residents, showing them these are the job listings that are available, these are the resources that you can take advantage of, and how our Chamber of Commerce can better suit you, the residents, in providing access to either loans, resources, job opportunities, and their contact information. I also have so that's on the next one. I'm getting quite parched. I'll take one more question, and then I'll try and get some lunch. From Jacqueline Venezuela, yeah, your question is the website for registering for COVID-19 testing, LHI, is pretty confusing and difficult to fill out. A lot of people don't know how to fill it out on the website. You know, that's a very good, let me see here. That's a very good topic that you brought up. And you know, to actually help, that gives me an idea to help address that. So I made a video, you know, regarding the process of the location, what the testing is going to look like, and you being checked in. I think I'm gonna do, not I think, I will do a Zoom kind of recorded meeting on the process of actually filling the form out and where to go to actually get tested. I think I'm getting a lot of questions from residents regarding just getting to the form itself and what questions to actually answer. I know it's, you know, it has questions there saying provide your insurance and, you know, a list of symptoms. You don't have to provide any of that. Again, because this was rolled out so quickly, LHI is basically using their standard form they usually use and just had it populated in there. So there are a lot of questions you do not have to answer. If you want to provide your insurance information just to keep all your medical records in one location, you can. But I'm going to do a video, and it's a very good idea of how the actual process of filling out the form, where to go, and having that sent out to everyone in English and Spanish, I think will be very beneficial, including this sign-up process for the walk-in same-day passes. We are now up to, I was able to work 50 passes, same-day walk-in passes for Hawthorne residents through my website and my Eventbrite page. So please, if you need a test and you're in Hawthorne, go to HaidarHawthorne.com and look on the resource page for the Eventbrite link and download the pass. All you need to do is get your patient ID number from LHI, and then whatever you do is do not book an appointment if you want to use the walk-in pass. So what's going to happen is if you actually book an appointment prior to getting a pass, well, then the appointment time will supersede the pass. So it's you don't want to lock yourself out. So if you do want to do a same-day walk-in pass download, make sure to just only get the patient ID number when it's signing up on lhi.care. And then you go to my website, insert your patient ID, and then download the pass if you are a Hawthorne resident or a teacher within the Hawthorne School District or Centinela Valley School District, a frontline worker that's working within Hawthorne. We want to provide access to these individuals. First, it's imperative and important that you guys take advantage of these free testing centers now. We're going to be open till we have the contract extended to, now it's September, I'm happy to say. We are now working on having it open for October. Let's see. So still free. And Jacqueline, thank you for the inspiration of that idea of trying to creating a actual recorded video with the whole process of filling out the form. You also asked, we tried to call the number if we had questions about the we had questions about the registration and they never answered. Is this the LHI.care phone number that they don't answer? I've been getting complaints regarding that call-in number, especially from a lot of residents saying that it's either they don't pick up or it's disconnected or just whatever the case might be. I don't want it to continue to be that way if it's still an issue. Can you provide the number that you're talking about? Because they have a few. And then you also asked, I did a test, but I'm talking about other people who can't. We saw a lady who couldn't do the form. Actually, you're right. I have found that very alarming that the reason why we were providing the phone number is so that individuals that are having a hard time actually filling out the form themselves don't have to go through that whole process, because you can get your patient ID number using that phone number. So I'm gonna address that issue, and if you can provide me that number, I'll contact LHI right after this call to make sure that either they set up a new line, a new dedicated line, or have one of the RNs within the facility itself provide a contact number where they can actually help onboard you on the system. And plus, if you're a Hawthorne resident, shoot me an email when you want to get tested. I can, surprisingly, because I'm always there working with the staff and making sure that we have the adequate testing supplies and equipment. I can actually set up your appointment for you through LHI. So if you need help filling out the form, just to get your patient ID number, please email me, give me a call, and I'll set your appointment and walk-in pass. But on the screen here, you can see that for the Hawthorne COVID-19 Testing Center, we can put that up real quick. Thank you. So the process would be, you go to COVID-19 lacounty.gov /testing. If we can go to the prior slide, here we go. So as you can see here, on step one, let me just have it load here. There you go. So step one is to register by calling this phone number. Now, Jacqueline, if that's the same phone number that's giving you a problem, let me know so then I can address that with LHI now. You can either do it by phone or online at lhi.care /COVID testing. You then obtain a patient ID number when you complete the whole registration process. Now, as you're going through this process, again, you do not have to list any of your symptoms, and you do not have to provide any insurance information. It's free. It should only take about 5 minutes to actually fill out the form and get your patient ID number. So make sure to go that route. And then step 3 would be to sign up for the Hawthorne Testing Center walk-in pass at testing.haidarhawthorne.com. And then you take both your patient ID and your walk-in pass to the Betty Ainsworth Sports Center here in Hawthorne next to the Memorial Center. And I know it says between the hours of 1:30, yes, Monday through Friday, between the hours of 1:30 and 6. I've worked with the staff there to now actually increase it to where we will have it start from lunch for them starts at 12:30 to 1:30. We're also working at hold on. I remember seeing an email this morning. Actually, no, the new hours for the walk-in passes are going to be from 10 to 6. So again, the new hours are going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. All 50 residents, you can come in, 50 spots. I'm going to be increasing that number on the Eventbrite page link right after this call. But I'm happy to say from 10 to 6, if you have the pass downloaded, walk in. Woo. Doing a lot of talking. Devin, thank you for right after this call joining the town hall. I'm glad to see you on here. I'm trying to do some big things, man. I'm trying to help out the community the best I can. I have a couple more questions, and then I'll jump off. Let's see. I have a question from Cindy Garcia saying Hawthorne police used to patrol my street at night. they would look for illegal parking and illegal activity. How can that be done? Again, lately there has been some unwanted hangout and a lot of street disputes. I feel unsafe due to that I have 3 young kids. Jacqueline, you're very welcome for that. Now, Cindy, what street in particular are you talking about? So that's why I can bring it up with the chief in the police department. Illegal activities. Can you kind of stress what the what kind of activities? I mean, they should be patrolling the same areas. There shouldn't be a reason why there's been a decrease in certain aspects or certain parts of the city. If you can kind of let me know what street in particular and what kind of illegal activity that's being transpired, so I can put it on their radar that they quickly address and make sure that you feel safe with your 3 young kids, and to look for illegal parking. I know that's been a very hot topic now. You have cars that are double parking or just there's doing everything they can to hoard more parking spaces and not really help out their good neighbors. So if you can, let me know. Let's see. Cranebrook Avenue between El Segundo and 126th Street. Okay. El Segundo, 126th. And smoking and drinking on a red zone. When are you typically seeing these occurrences happen? Red zone, okay. So I'll let our chief and our police department know about that particular area. If you can kind of give me a range of hours, that'll be great as well. The last thing I want you to feel is not to be safe with your 3 kids in your home. I have those. Section cars. I can see how that's a lot of activity. So yeah, let me know. Yeah, it's unfortunate that you have to deal through all those issues at the same time or at different times of the month or week. So let me just know what particular hours so I can help address that. And again, any other questions or concern, email me at haidarawad@haidarhawthorne.com. I'm actually going to be having my appointment schedule up for Hawthorne residents to actually book an appointment going live today with the hours associated with it. So you can go to either one of my platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or my actual website. You'll have the link there to book an appointment. And they're going to be in 15 to 30-minute slots, depending on what your need is. At the same time, there's going to be different services where if you have questions regarding LHI walk-in passes or how to set up the form or, anything and everything, I've set up different services that you can kind of click and they'll each have a different time frame. This is in addition to all the other virtual town halls and office hours I'm doing. And it kind of makes it easier for me to kind of contact and address all the residents here in Hawthorne. And it'll be a hybrid. I'll always have on my side a Zoom. You can either jump in on a Zoom call or just call in. The reason I'm doing this is that if I have to show you any documentation or guide you through a process, I can show you on the screen, but you do not have to have a Zoom account. You do not have to turn on your camera. You just call in and we'll go from there. So again, you guys, thank you a lot for, it's been a long day, for joining me today on my virtual town hall. Like I said before, the next one, I'm going to have it more centered around getting jobs into Hawthorne and having our working families actually increase their quality of life with the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Patricia Donaldson, and president of the South Bay WHIP, Jan Vogel, two key individuals regarding business resources and acquiring jobs and opportunities like in that nature. So it's been a lot of talking today. So I apologize in advance. Thank you all for joining, and can't wait to see you guys next time. Have a nice day, everyone. Stay safe, wear your mask, practice social distancing, and for the students out there, be ready for school at 8.